Hi there, Neil Mason here from Applied Insights. In this series of short videos, I'd like to take you through how to build what I call a really offensive data and analytics strategy. Now, in the last video, I explained what I meant by that and talked about the three key components that make up such a strategy. Firstly, focusing on the last mile and making the shift to decision intelligence. Secondly, developing value-based analytics products. Thirdly, creating robust value management, delivery, and tracking processes. So in this short video, I'm going to talk about that focus on the last mile and what I mean by the shift to decision intelligence. So if we go back and take a look at our value chain again in terms of creating outcomes from data, then the last mile is that bit where the insights are generated then actually being applied in the business to make decisions that lead to action, hopefully. It's where the rubber hits the road. If you think about it, this is really where all the value creation happens in that value chain, because additional value from data and analytics initiatives is only realized when the decision that is required is made, is improved in efficiency or effectiveness. Greater efficiency means lower cost to insights or faster speed to insights, so you can make that decision quicker or cheaper than you could before. Greater effectiveness means that you are improving the probability of there being a beneficial outcome or reducing the risk of there being a poor one. Now, you would think this is all pretty self-evident, but in my experience, many organizations still struggle with turning insights into actions and actually understanding those outcomes. And I believe that this focus on the last mile largely defines those organizations that succeed with their data and analytics initiatives. It requires a systematic shift in thinking onto the decision that needs to be made, and from there feed back into the value chain what the insights are that are needed to make that decision, and therefore what the data is that are required and the transformations that are needed to be able to deliver those insights. So the decisions, the actions, and the required outcomes determine the required insights, and those insights in turn determine the data and the transformation requirements of that data. And for me, this is the difference between data-driven and being led. Being data-driven is essentially going from left to right in the value chain, and it focuses on the data and to some extent the data alone. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but I think we've all been guilty of saying things like, oh, we've got this great data. What can we do with it? I think there's also a tendency to purely look at the rational elements of a decision, whereas lots of decisions are nuanced and multifaceted. Humans ultimately are not completely rational, and there are often many factors which come into play when people are making decisions. So that's also important. So it's about getting that balance right and having a human-centric approach as opposed to a purely machine-orientated approach. Data and analytics is not just about replacing human decisioning, particularly with all the hype around AI and Gen AI in particular at the moment, but it's also there to support or augment human decisioning. Now, decision intelligence explicitly incorporates this kind of decision-led approach, and it's particularly important when those decisions are of strategic importance. Increasingly, we're happy for routine or tactical decisions to be made by machines, perhaps with some level of oversight, and of course, intelligent automation is a fast-growing field and is being widely adopted across many businesses. People like Gartner have been talking about this concept of decision intelligence for quite some time now, as indeed have other people. For example, Google had a chief decision officer for a time. But a quick look on LinkedIn suggests that this is not a role that has taken off yet. Gartner defines decision intelligence as the business discipline of understanding how and why decisions are made, and then seeking to improve them. So it's clear from that the key role of data and analytics plays within that process. It's the fuel for the decisioning engine. As mentioned earlier, it's about improving speed, being able to take those decisions quicker, cutting down decision cycles from maybe months to weeks, from weeks to days to hours, or even real time or probably near time. It's not just about speed though. You can very quickly get to the wrong place. It's about performance as well, making those decisions more effective. So in practical terms, what does decision-led look like, and how do you make the shift? Well, I think the best way is to think about data and analytics as products, and to develop analytical products which tightly couple the insights required to the decision that's going to be made, and thinking through that process from end to end. So in the next video, I'll talk a bit more about analytical products, what I mean by an analytical product, and how to go about designing and developing them. I'll see you then.